I do have additional cards, so before we go to a motion, I do want to hear from those cards. Mr. Clark, you're opposed to this item. Please come forward. Up to 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council members. And before I get started, yes, my name is Leonard Clark. Lived in Phoenix all my life, except for a few years in the Army. But I'm not trying to say anything personally against you, but we're leaving out one big elephant in this room, and that is the Super Bowl is coming. I spoke with homeless people, and I think they were correct when they told me it's all about the Super Bowl. You know, in the Victorian age, they used to take their disabled family members and hide them up in the attic, if you will, because they didn't want to show the blemishes of the family. The city of Phoenix is like a family, and the Super Bowl is coming. Why an emergency clause right now? Why? Why not more time for debate? Why criminalize the mentally ill? You say, well, we have the homeless shelter where they can go. Well, first of all, I tried to help several people. I had one of my friends say, why don't you try, Leonard? Why don't you go out and help them? I've tried with a man, but in the end, he does not want to. He is mentally ill. And when you take a mentally ill person who can't even help themselves, that's their only food, and they won't go into the shelter because we're not working on a way to declare them mentally incompetent so they can get the food they need, you are condemning the poor. You are criminalizing the mentally ill. The Super Bowl is coming to town. Come on, why an emergency clause where this goes in immediately to effect? You know that this has been overturned in Portland, Oregon. This has been overturned in Maine. The same issue came up. Oh, it's for the safety. I thank the city staff, but none of that information specifically addressed anybody. I saw not one specific case of a pedestrian standing in the median getting hit. In Portland, in Maine, both federal judges said this is limiting free speech. Now people say, Leonard, come on. Well, in this day and age, now I hear the word criminalizing, maybe they'll be turned down. We throw mentally ill people in jail. This is just another measure. The Super Bowl is coming to town, and we're trying to tell them, hey, we'll put on our best face for Phoenix. We're going to hide our blemishes. Well, that leads to the deeper question. Why do we have people out in the medians? Now, I know, conservative, liberal, I'm not going to get in that box. They're lazy, they don't work. You know what? Some people actually are hungry. They are mentally ill, like the individual I'm trying to get into a shelter. He is schizophrenic. We cut back on our funding. And so what do we do here for the Super Bowl, our Super Bowl God that is coming to town, the NFL, the not-for-profit organization? We have to go ahead and hide our homeless. But you see, what gives it away here, and I think all of you are very nice people. Thank you for letting me speak. And I thank the veterans, that I can even say this. In some countries, I would be gagged right now, sent out, and probably shot or jailed. But the fact is, why is it an emergency? Why? This is not common. I come to these city council meetings. It's because multi-billion-dollar industry, the NFL Super Bowl is coming to town. The eyes of the world are upon Phoenix, Arizona. And we are ashamed. We are trying to hide those in our community that maybe don't put on the best face for the city of Phoenix. This should not be an emergency clause. I heard confusion on the part of the mayor and some other members. Now we're talking, well, maybe they will be criminalized. When you criminalize somebody who doesn't even know what's going on because they're hungry and they're asking for food, and by the way, not one specific case, again, has ever been shown that a person standing in the median in the city of Phoenix has been hit. It's not for the children. It's not that. And another thing, it starts to limit our freedom of speech. The people with the money, the dark money people, it's harder and harder. Pretty soon, I won't be able to speak here. I'll be told, shut up. Citizens can write down one word and then not. So please, I plead
Leonard, right
to you.
on cue. I got to tell you to stop only because the time is up. I apologize.
All right, but I want our citizens to know though, the mayor, the council, our veterans, we're getting them off the
Thank you very
street.
much.
We're doing all these things, but this, please,
Thank you very
don't
much.
pass this.
Leonard,
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Leonard. Let me respectfully disagree on a couple points. First, you raised some very important issues, many of which don't apply to this case. The issue here that is being addressed is median. Individuals on sidewalks, which is maybe what you've seen in other locations. Simply, this is not affecting anybody on a sidewalk, and I don't think you'd have the support of this council on that. This is the issue of median only. And I think the issue of confusion that it only had to do with the fact that the request that we put in a more formal way, the warning system into the ordinance. I think that was a very reasonable, in my opinion, a very reasonable request of our leaders, advocates for individuals experiencing homelessness. Louie Schmidt, you want to speak next? Up to 2 minutes, followed by Diane Barker.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm not as passionate as our brother Leonard Clark, but I agree with a lot of the statements he said. The gentleman who spoke up, one of the first speakers who spoke up, he brought up good points. But unless you've been homeless in the city, unless you've been homeless any